Welcome back to the Money Pick Podcast, brought to you by Goodwin Investment Advisory, where our mission is to lead people to financial peace, independence, and generosity. I'm your host, Reid Trigo, and today on the show, we're joined by GIA's Creative Brand Manager, Tara Bruce, for a discussion about goal setting in the new year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Nice to have you here, Tara.
Thank you.
Wow, you brought a whole crowd. You brought your cheering section. Yes, it is. You brought a whole cheering section. That's totally awesome. All right. So this is a good time of year, Happy New Year, to talk about goal setting and kind of looking back as well. So, typically I think when we think about goal setting, we think about the F's, right? Family, fun, fitness. What is the other one? Faith. Fitness. Oh, I said fitness. And then the other one's finances.
Yes.
And so we'll just, since we're a financial services organization, investment advisory, we'll focus on the financial ones.
Yes, I think that would be great. And just spending some time as you're coming into the new year, reflecting over 2023 goals and kind of how did you do? How did you do on those goals? Did you actually accomplish the goals that you set out to do? And were those goals written down? Can you go back and look at them and kind of see, did I accomplish the things I set out to for the year?
What percentage of people do you think actually are intentional about that kind of stuff?
Probably less than 10%.
Probably not very many.
Yeah.
Spent most of my life not very intentional about it, but the last few years we've become very intentional.
Oh, have you seen a big difference in being able to accomplish the goals by the end of the year?
We at least know where we got, and we can look back. A year later, we really talk about it quarterly at least, maybe more often. But we can look back and go, oh, remember when we set the goal to have 10 widgets or whatever
Right.
it is, or to accomplish 10X whatevers. And gosh, you know what? We got 8 of them done.
Well, that's good. And you can celebrate that.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
Made progress. You can tell if you're making progress.
Yeah. I think there's a statistic that says 42% of people, you're more likely to accomplish your goals, 42% more likely if you've written your goals down.
Yeah, probably.
And so many people don't write their goals down.
Yeah. It's hard to sit down and make that time to do the important, not urgent stuff.
Yes.
Right. And so I get it. It's human nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I wanted to mention is that once a year, at least, you should ask yourself, did your investments perform enough to meet your goals? And that is kind of a tricky question, but if you can look back and compare your performance to the S&P 500 and see, okay, how did I compare? And should I consider making any adjustments? So that's a conversation you can have with your financial advisor.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they are happy to talk about it after 2023 because the market was up so much.
Right.
Nobody was excited to talk about it after 2022 when the market S&P was down 19 or 20%. But what you do is you look at what did your portfolio perform? Because if the whole market is down 20%, but you were only down 18, you actually outperformed the market. Right. I guess we should throw in a disclosure here right now. We're not giving any personal, individual financial advice. Okay. Compliance will be happy with us on that. But then this year, if wherever the S&P ends up 23% or whatever it is, if your portfolio was up 25%, you outperformed. And there are other metrics in there. Some of our clients are, as we get older, we make their portfolios less aggressive. So they're not going to get the full S&P 500 return. They'll be a little bit moderated a little bit, but still, everybody's portfolios should be up this year.
Yeah. Oh God, I hope so. And another thing is, if you haven't written down goals for 2023, maybe you need to begin in 2024. Maybe start setting some goals, start writing them down, so that you can have kind of some benchmarks in a beginning. We do have a guide online, 20 money conversations you should be having, that I actually wrote, and you can download that for free. And just to begin having those conversations, it's a daily, weekly, monthly, annual conversations.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I should mention Tara writes all of our blogs here, at least twice a month, right? And they come out very, very useful information. A lot of times our podcasts are kind of linked to them as well. But this 20 money conversations, what is it you should have with your spouse or
you should be having. You can have them by yourself or with a friend, but having them with your partner or spouse is also super helpful to be on the same page.
Yeah, and as a listener, if you want to have access to those blogs, just text blog to 66866, and we will respond to you.
I always tell people, like, make sure your goals that you're setting are actually SMART goals.
SMART goals.
Yep. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. And write them down, put the dates down, put the time frame you want to accomplish these goals by.
So not like, hey, I want to exercise more.
Right.
I actually have.
That's a wish.
It's a wish.
Not a goal.
That's right. So we actually said, okay, by this point, I want to weigh 190 pounds. Because I have been on a little bit of a weight loss thing the last year and a half. So yeah, but then you can measure that along the way. Yeah. Right? Exactly. Every quarter, look, hey, if I lose 5 pounds or whatever.
And you have to celebrate it along the way.
Yeah, you do. With a piece of cake.
Oh, exactly. Oh my gosh, you sound like the mole from that book, The Fox, the Mole, the Horse.
Oh, really? Yeah. Funny.
Everything was about cake.
Oh, hilarious. Yeah. Okay, SMART goals. I like that. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. Yeah.
And also, a lot of times when you're setting goals, sometimes you don't even know where to begin. Like, what do I start making goals around? Well, I tend to tell people to ask yourself, like, what are the problems that you're presently trying to solve? And so just trying to figure out, like, for our clients specifically, or people that have hired us, or I've talked to them doing the intro calls, because I also am the first kind of voice that someone talks to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are the hot, like, concerns that they're calling with? That's a great conversation. Yeah.
So, like, probably one of the main concerns someone communicates to me is that they don't even know what they need to know.
Oh, I can totally relate. Years ago, when I became a client here, I was like, I don't understand any of it, but I guess you do. Mm-hmm. Little did I know Tim had just barely started the firm anyway.
Right.
But he did know what he was talking about. Yeah. And so, but I didn't know and I wasn't interested, and I had my own life and I had my own business and I was busy with my job. I just wanted somebody else that I could trust to take care of things.
Yeah, and it's overwhelming to think that there's all these things that everyone else knows, but you don't know. So then you kind of feel, I don't even know how to ask the questions or what to ask or,
Yeah. An example of that was, I remember he would talk about ETFs, exchange traded funds. I was like, I don't know what that is, and I'm not going to ask, but I'm pretty sure I should know what it is, but I don't, and it's confusing.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's how people feel sometimes.
Oh, I felt like that when I first came on staff here. I'm writing content, and everyone's telling me all kinds of acronyms for everything, and I have no idea what anyone is saying.
Yeah. Because you're in marketing.
I know.
You're not an advisor. Yeah, hilarious. Okay, I think people, like, that makes people nervous when they call. They're like, I don't know what I don't know. I don't even know the questions to ask. Mm-hmm. So they need to know that, hey, when they're meeting with an advisor, at least here, no judgment zone. We're not going to be pompous and talk over your head. We have a heart of a teacher, as former smart. What was it called? SmartVestor Pros. Yeah, we used to be affiliated with Dave Ramsey's organization when we were starting out. And so we do. We have the heart of a teacher. We want our people to understand what they're invested in.
Yeah, I really do appreciate Joe and Justin. I have so much patience to be able to understand these complex things, make it simple, clear, and in a way that someone can walk away going, oh my goodness, I actually understand this. Yeah. And I can feel good about my financial plan because of it.
Literally, I meet with people occasionally too, and I would meet with a couple, and they would say, I think we have investments, or one of them would be kind of into it and one of them's not. And I would say, okay, let's just back up. Do you understand what a stock is? Or do you understand what a mutual fund is? And I could tell one of them would be like, yeah. And one of them would be, no, I don't. And I was like, it's okay. We're gonna slow it down. We're gonna explain it to you.
Yeah. Well, some of the other pain points that people continuously talk about are just having, like, this anxiety about future and retirement. Mm-hmm. That's a big one. Just like having security. People want security. They want to be comfortable in their retirement. They're not sure if they can maintain that same lifestyle that they have now when they retire. And just getting confidence and peace of mind is a huge goal, but people don't even know what to do to help them get there.
Yeah. And the greatest fear is, like, that I'd be a burden to my kids in retirement, right? A financial burden. That would be so scary. So these are great reasons why, when you're in your 40s, 50s, or early 50s, I'm in my 50s, so like early 50s or wherever, it's a good idea to, hey, am I on track? Right. Meet with somebody, ask some questions, get an idea, set some financial goals.
Yeah. And like we recently, if you're not a client, we actually just started this new service, which is a free second opinion on your retirement plan. And if you are kind of setting goals for the new year and you're looking just for someone to give you some peace of mind, security, confidence, that might be something that a place you can start. It's an easy way to meet with me. You'd have the first conversation with me. I'd ask you some questions, do an assessment, and then from there, you would meet with one of our advisors.
It's just the FSORPA.
It is the FSORPA. Such
Free
a funny word.
Second opinion
FSORPA.
Retirement plan assessment.
Yes, exactly.
FSORPA, yeah. Well, it rolls off your tongue.
Right, exactly.
Okay. What else are we setting goals around?
Yeah, so, everyone wants to set some like financial planning goals for not only retirement, but also another problem that people are trying to solve is paying too much on taxes. They're worried they're paying too much and they don't know the secrets. Like there's these secrets that I don't know and everyone else is privy to, all this knowledge,
Yeah.
So that's another pain point.
I do sometimes think accountants keep that stuff in their back pocket.
Yeah.
No, I don't know that. There are no secrets. It's all public information. It's just how you kind of interpret it. And
yeah. And it changes so often that it's complicated and overwhelming.
It is.
To keep up
it's
with
ridiculous.
the changes.
Yeah. It's so complicated. Well, good.
Another thing that I wanted to share is that as you're like looking through these problems that you're trying to solve and creating goals around them, something that's super important is to know your why. When you become aware of the problems that you're trying to solve, you need to start asking yourself, why do I want to complete this goal? And so as you write down the goals, beside that, you should say something like, I want to accomplish this goal because, and then actually write down a reason, like leaving a legacy or creating meaningful moments with my spouse, or if it's, finance related, why do I want to have this kind of retirement? What do I want to do? What's meaningful in that, in my retirement that
That's awesome. I was just trying to think about something in my plan that I think, oh, well, why would I want to do that? I have some big whys. I know things that I want to establish and contribute to.
What's one of your whys?
Oh, I would love. So I have this thing lately in just education. Kids, they come out of school. I want to start a school called Things They Don't Teach You in School.
Oh my gosh, I was just talking about that yesterday.
Come on. HVAC,
life skills.
Basic HVAC, basic auto repair, personal finance for sure, compound interest, all that. Basic cooking.
Oh, right.
Like just little stuff that saves people tons of money. What are the parts of a small engine? Because if I could fix my tiller, I would save a ton of money.
Oh, right.
Right? Yeah.
And just changing your brakes. I mean, it's so much cheaper. And it's such an easy thing to learn to do.
Apparently, somebody said it was. I've never learned to do it.
Oh, Josh can teach you. Josh taught Tim.
I know. Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. So that would be like long-term vision for me. I would start a school called Things They Don't Teach You in School.
I love that. A life skills class. People leave college and don't know how to do any of those things.
I know. I did.
Right.
All of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're right. You have to have a why around your goals.
We also have this downloadable checklist. It's a free end of the year checklist for 2023. And even I know that this is releasing in January, but as you're reflecting, you might want to download that, kind of check off the things you did accomplish, and it might help you set some new goals for 2024 as well. But yeah, like having goals around all the areas, not just finance, is super important. Like relationships.
Yeah.
Making goals around having fun.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites, of course.
With our kids having moved out, we actually set targets every quarter about how many times we want to connect with them for lunch. They don't even probably know.
Oh, wow.
I know.
So they have no idea.
No, and they probably won't listen to this. So no.
Right. Hopefully they don't.
No, we have that target. So anyway, those are like little things. It's good. We can assess it quarterly. Good. I think having goals is great.
Yeah.
Writing it down. Start with why. Right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tara.
You're welcome.
Fun conversation with our creative brand manager, blog writer, specialist. And as financial advisors here at GIA, we manage and rebalance portfolios. That's what we do. But the unique value is that we work to understand our clients' individual goals so we can have these types of planning conversations that are so personal and unique to each individual. Thanks again for being with us, Tara. And thank you all for listening. We will catch you next time. Happy New Year.
The Money Pick podcast is hosted by Reid, a financial advisor at Goodwin Investment Advisory. This podcast is intended to share information and perspectives, but should not be interpreted as legal, financial, or tax advice. The opinions shared by participants are not necessarily endorsed by the company. Goodwin Investment Advisory is regulated by the SEC, and the company operates in compliance with applicable securities laws and regulations.